everybody. Welcome to Frickin'. It's your boy Binks. Excited to be here.
Welcome to the stream. I hope you like the vibe. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. We're gonna play some games. We're gonna clap some cheeks. Now be a good chatter and don't be a piece.
Hope you're all having a fantastic, wonderful, very good day today.
Binks, 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 Binks.
What up, everyone? Or
I hope
Binks.
you like the vibe. Binks,
It's Friday.
Binks, Binks, Binks.
How exciting.
If you're watching on YouTube,
How
like and
unbelievably
subscribe.
exciting that is. What up, Brigby? Up, brother?
Welcome to the stream. I hope you like the vibe. If you're watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. We're gonna play some games.
Hope you're all
We're
doing
gonna
well
clap some
today.
cheeks. Now be a good chatter and don't be a piece. Binks, 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 and don't be a piece.
I didn't have time to check the sub notification thing and try and figure that out.
I
Hopefully it
hope
just
you like
starts
the
working.
vibe. Binks, 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 Binks.
Hey, that's my toxic trait, is that I
If you're
just,
watching on
when things go
YouTube,
wrong, I just hope
like
that
and
after enough
subscribe.
time they'll be
Binks,
okay.
Binks, 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 Binks.
Type shit, you know what I'm talking about?
Binks, Binks.
What up, Jeff Allen? Draft mode, draft mode, draft mode, draft mode. We finally have
I hope
details.
you like the vibe. Binks, Binks. Like and
We're gonna talk
subscribe.
about 'em today.
Binks, Binks. I hope you like the vibe. Binks, Binks. Like and subscribe.
Oh, oh. What up, everyone? Welcome the frick in. Your boy Binks, excited to be here. And some dang old Marvel Snap with y'alls. Gonna be a good one today. It is indeed. What up, Plus on Whiff? We have some new draft mode details we're going to go over. Which is very exciting. This is a mode that I have asked for... It's got to be since like the second week of the game being in beta. Is over 4 years. Pretty incredible to see the dream become a reality. You're gonna get drafted? You're gonna do the drafting. Even better. It's just really, really exciting. This is the first time Snap has really come out with something that's like really, really excited me, I think. Like Snap for me has always been, the game is just very good. And I'm always happy to play it. I really, really like this game. I think that it's amazing. I think that the mechanics are next level. I think that the creativity that you can have in this game and the skill expression that you can have, it feels pretty amazing. I think that something like Draft really puts a lot of the things that I love about Marvel Snap. Really highlights those things that I really, really like about the game. Which is cool. Which is very cool. Very cool indeed. Sorry, I'm just trying to set up to go over this article a little bit. I don't think they have dark mode on this website. Let me add a filter, make it less jarring. I do this like I know how to do it. I've done it before. Turned on the brightness a little bit, so hopefully it won't be so bad on the eyes. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. You just wish it wasn't ticketed? I also wish all things in life were free. I wish businesses didn't need to make money either. However, that is not the world we live in. And I think that if you expected a mode like draft to not have some level of ticketing, probably a little bit delusional, to be fair. It's a completely disingenuous take on your comment. You just don't want to be gatekept while you're playing the mode. It's not disingenuous, but it's okay if you think that it is. You're allowed to do whatever you want in this crazy world. My point, I guess, is just saying I wish it wasn't ticketed isn't an opinion. It's something that everyone wants. Everyone wants things to be free, right? That's more what I'm pointing out. Oh, you can think I'm disingenuous. All you'd like. I have no control over this. Okay, let's do this. Let's close Snap, actually, because the trackers are annoying. All right, so this is a GameSpot article that released today, talking about draft. There is a reviewer's like time actually playing the game firsthand. And then there is an interview. With someone on the dev team. There's quite a few different things there. So it is officially coming out on Monday, August 24th. Get an exclusive first look at it. No, my statement wasn't the basis of wishing things were free. It was based on not wanting to be locked out of the newest, biggest mode in history of game. What do you mean by locked out? Can you explain what you mean by locked out? There have to be a limited time game mode at launch. Similar to other modes like Grand Arena, Team Clash, Sanctum Showdown. You'll have tickets to play, as well as a reward track for participating in the mode. Also, carves out its own space with some unique twists on the regular rules of draft mode. So this is a big thing. Instead of just getting a first pick, you get a choice of 3 cards, which is a starter. The starter cards will all have a like theme or a initial kind of type. You run out of tickets and you're locked out for 8 hours. Oh, you can just buy more tickets though. You're not locked out. The key's right there. Then you build the rest of your deck with individual cards categorized into those archetypes. So it will tell you like what, I guess, quote unquote archetype or synergy the different cards have. Secondary note that Marvel Snap is unusually synergistic, so it needed to make sure players could draft a deck that works well together. That's the purpose of categorizing cards into specific pools. Cards have also now been given a rarity status, like rare or legendary helps steer how often it will come up as an option in the card selection. The cards will be weighted on different like rarities. So not every card that's available will be the same cost. Sorry, the pictures are going to look weird. I did this to make it so that it wasn't blindingly bright. You can see the difference here. Isn't that much of a difference, but I don't know. I hate when things can't be in dark mode. I might agree to disagree. Sounds like you didn't want to say, but I don't want to pay for it. I want it to be free. Kind of interesting how you ended the conversation there. It's weird. Just an observation, I guess. Just a cheeky little observation for your pleasure. So you choose a starter set. So this one has ongoing starters, destroy starters, control starters. And then you get to pick a pack of 3 cards. Do it up for one. Don't forget to check your Discord friend requests from last Thursday. Why? Kind of interesting how you try to complete my argument for me at the purpose of debate. And then play it all as a coy hee hee, look at this idiot. Hey man. For me, I love people who refuse to be wrong. It's one of my favorite type of people to play with. Oh, awesome. Okay. Is it the same name? think I see you. So I have so many. I have so many. I have so many Discord friend requests. I'm not gonna lie. Okay, yeah, I found you. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I appreciate it. I would like for you to. Yeah. We'll talk on there. Thank you. Alright. During the initial draft phase, you'll immediately notice how cards, sometimes a little different than you recognize. For one, they may be given enhanced stats, making them more powerful than standard incarnations. You can also have duplicates in draft mode, so you can have more than just one card per deck, which is pretty cool. I appreciate that. Really awesome stuff. I think that this is a really cool thing that they're implementing. So basically, it's not just going to be you have the exact same card. You're going to have the ability to have very strong versions of cards. So they can either have stat changes to have more base power or cost less. Things like that. But also, there are these things that are augments. Yeah, they give some examples here. Quick draw discount, reduce the card cost by 2 the turn it's drawn. Double a card's ongoing effect. Basically give a card the Quicksilver treatment. Make it always start in your hand. Really cool things that you can do with this. So one thing that this means, and just like thinking about draft overall, is as you go on, both you and the people that you face are going to be adding these augments and changes to your deck. So the decks are going to get kind of crazy by the end. So it's going to be an interesting thing with drafting of, do I want to make sure my initial deck can win, but also looking forward to when I'm at, 4-1, I'm going to be facing opponents with crazy broken cards. I need to be doing something crazy broken as well. So I think that there's some really cool things that you can do. In your decision-making process. So this is something that I think is going to be really interesting to see how like the quote-unquote like soft meta develops. In draft, there's not really a meta, so to speak. There's a new code for a new title. Thank you, JMac. So like you kind of have to look at the floor of what your deck can do, but also make sure that you're building towards something that can beat a bunch of broken stuff that you're probably going to be facing at the end. Draft until you make a deck of 10 cards, you start battling. You'll play until either you win 5 matches or you lose 2. So pretty tight-knit system. You only have to get to 5 wins. You have to get to 10 wins or anything like that in other modes or other games. You only have 2 lives. It's pretty cool. No, the pictures are it's me. I changed it so that it's not as bright. The pictures are cooked. I'll show the pictures at the end. It doesn't have a dark mode, so I lowered the brightness on the picture to make it not flashbang people. But thank you for pointing it out. I know it looks weird. So you get up to 12 cards in your deck. You start with 10. Dark mode extension. Yeah, you probably could do that, but I'm not going to do that now on stream and add something random. I've tried some of those dark mode extensions and they like break websites. I just don't go on websites that don't have dark mode, to be frank with you. It's the easiest way to deal with it. So If you get your second loss in a draft, there are these things called respawn tokens that you can use. You can use one of them per run. So it's kind of like an extra resource where if you feel like you have a good run, you could use a respawn token to get one extra life. You can't like stack it and use a bunch of respawn tokens. You can use one per draft. So it'll be interesting to see how they balance this. If there's too many respawn tokens, it'll just feel like win 5 before you lose 3. If they're very scarce, you'll have to be, you know, really, really picky with how you use them. Gut reaction to this is that it feels a little pay to win coded. So I'd be interested to see how the community feels about respawn tokens and how they're implemented. But my gut reaction to this is that it's a little bit, it feels a little pay to win coded, and it feels like for good players, it might just mean that you have to win 5 before you lose 3. But it all depends on how it's implemented. Is this person gotta take a peek at it? Okay, we'll look at this picture. Not all fucked up. So this is an example of like a between the rounds ad, because in the initial draft you only get to 10. This is between the rounds draft. And all these cards offered are augmented, so they all have something special to do. For instance, they have Encore Juggernaut, which is quite funny because that very rarely will do much. I actually wonder if Encore Juggernaut, if it goes twice, if it'll move it to one location and then it'll move it to the other one. But maybe I'm just all fricked up from the that Juggernaut clip I got the other day. I don't know. The new type categories make a huge difference in building synergistic deck. Gives you a starter pack with 3 cards. Really helped you steer towards a particular playstyle. Then it was easy to maintain with that subsequent draft selections. Not every choice is a perfect fit. As is natural in a draft mode, you need some randomness and things don't always line up. But choosing an archetype of a starter created a North Star for me to follow for the rest of my selections. New rarity ratings had a similar steering effect, as sometimes I would break my deck type, take advantage of powerful legendary cards, trusting that its quality would still make it worthwhile. Plus, if a card doesn't exactly fit my deck, I could always bank the chance of outfitting it with a great augment that could make it work. Or I could use augments to turn my already powerful cards into destructive powerhouses. Yeah, I think that that's going to be a lot of the strategy with this, is how to use your augments properly. There's obviously going to be randomness in which ones you get offered and which like cards you can put them on. But I think that it's a really cool way to like extend your normal drafting experience, where it's not just like I'm going to draft 12 cards and then I'm going to play that a bunch of times and hope that it's good enough. You actually can like play a couple of games, maybe lose one, and then you realize like something's wrong with your deck, and then you find either another card or an augment on one of your cards that can really change how the deck functions. So like any card game, Marvel Snap's draft mode sings when it lets you create unexpected combos that make you feel powerful or even game breaking. Traditionally a Destroy player in Marvel Snap, that's awesome. They found one of the people who have 1,000 hours in Destroy and fully inked deck. The respawn tokens give you one, like they don't refill your life. No, they just give you one more chance. I drafted a Bucky Barnes, which dropped a Winter Soldier, but I got the opportunity to augment Bucky with regeneration, giving him the Wolverine ability to revive and bounce to a different location with +2 power. So you can destroy Bucky a bunch of times and have Winter Soldiers popping up all over the place. So really, really cool stuff. I think augments are super, super cool. How they can, some augment combinations are just like crazy broken. Really, really cool. Excited to see what the crazy combinations of augments can do to make some truly, truly insano cards. So this is a really big Wolverine that they got. Quite funny. But I don't know if they had Regenerator on their Wolverine to make him double, like do double Wolverine stuff. That's pretty cool. Two big pillars of Marvel Snap are ranked. Okay, so this is a interview. For more insight on Marvel Snap's new draft mode, you gotta talk to Sam. So the two big pillars of Marvel Snap are rank mode and conquest, plus rotating limited time game modes. In the foundational stages, when you were first conceptualizing having a draft mode, why'd you go with the limited time game mode route instead of trying to make it a third pillar? Part of the reason why it's taken so long to get draft is that if you were to design a game where it was basically impossible to do a draft mode, Snap would be pretty high up the list. It's got a lot of things that are working against how you normally do a draft mode. Lower number of cards, very high synergy cards. So it makes it hard to try and like make a draft style format that feels like Snap when those two things are pretty important. Part of limited time mode is that we have a lot of unknowns right now. I do enjoy the mode a lot, but I designed it. I've talked to a lot of other people who enjoy it, but we definitely need to really stress test it with a large number of people. The thing we cannot do is change 2/3 of the cards every time we run the draft. There simply aren't enough cards. But we can do things like change what augments exist or change what decision nodes you get. You know, some sort of core rules of what you're doing. So here's another peek at what it looks like when you get the offer to augment a card. You get offered an augment. So this is the Encore one. This card's on reveal ability repeats. I believe there's a system within there where if you get offered this, it'll only be on reveal cards that will get offered as far as what you can do. And then you can see they have a Spider-Man, which already has an augment. So you're able to stack multiple augments on a single card.
Everybody's a Binks fan.
I don't know if there's a limit to that, but it does look like you can do multiple. Thank you so much, Jabba Jub Jub, and thank you notifications for actually working, which is funny because you could hear it, but yeah. So the Penny is Penny. I don't know if they're referring to this as an augment, but Penny did have buff power. I don't know how they just like how they call things that just have increased power. If they call that an augment as well, it doesn't have one of the badges. Yeah, you can stack multiple things on a card to make something that's like truly, truly broken. And we'll also give you offering of some things that don't really make sense. Like we see here, Cloak with Encore doesn't really make sense. Kind of, this could be a stipulation where that was the only 3 on reveal cards that they had. Or it's just kind of giving bad players the ability to make a bad choice if they want, I suppose.
Excuse me, we still got a T3 sub, a legendary T3 sub.
I did not get that set up yet, Polychromica, but I will eventually. But I don't think I got it set up with the new computer. I kept it really, really streamlined. But thank you so very much for the 2 years of T3. You absolute legend. So all those options for what we can do, and we really want to make sure that basically whatever we're offering for this mode, it's as fun as possible, and it's not something that's going to become stale very quickly. That's one of the major things that we're going to find out, I believe, when we launch it. How long will people play this? We're able to reasonably get a lot of enjoyment out of it, be able to play new games, try different things. There's a lot of things we're just going to learn over time. Thank you, Hype Train. You can help support the Hype Train. Sorry, I'm not going to play it while I'm talking over something like this. Otherwise, we just have to take a 3-minute break. But thank you so much for setting up the Hype Train. Jabba Jub Jub Polychromica. Get your bits out, get your subs out, get your dang old primes out. Help support the Hype Train. Thank you, Polychromica. I really appreciate that. Based on how this limited time game mode goes, both with its initial rollout and subsequent versions, there's a chance it becomes permanent. Is that something that you're keeping an eye on? So they do mention subsequent versions. It's definitely something we're keeping an eye on. There's a lot of discussion about that. I'm not sure exactly where we're going to land on it. Certainly there are goals to make sure that Snap has a lot going on with it, that we have everything that we need. I think we're just basically going to figure out over time what the right spot is. We'll find out over time what the right cadence for this mode is. I want it to be a always on mode for sure. I really like draft. I think that it's really cool. I personally hope that they don't, bring it back every few months for a couple of weeks, especially from a content perspective. I think that draft is such an interesting way to make content. It's so, like, the way that I make Marvel Snap content, I kind of have been trying to make it feel like there's like unlimited decks that you can build in Snap, right? I feel like I've done a pretty good job of doing that. Especially over the last couple of years, it's felt a lot harder to think up of something that's new and different every time. Especially during metas where there's just overarching strategies that are really good or where things feel a little bit stale. So especially from a content perspective, I think that I would love for this to be an always on mode that I can always do. I think during its initial run, I'm going to make a really, really concerted push to push out a ton of draft content. It's a bit ambitious, but I want to put out a video every single day that draft is live with draft stuff. Probably still doing new card stuff on Tuesdays. But we're pretty much going to be pushing, or I'm going to be trying to push as much draft content as I possibly can. I think that this is a game mode that a lot of people can get down with. I think that it's a game mode that a lot of people will enjoy. I think that it's a game mode that can bring people back to Snap, especially because, there's not hoops you have to go through about like unlocking all the cards. You can just jump in and play draft mode. So really, really cool things with that. Replace Conquest? Why would you replace Conquest? You replace Conquest. JD Hartley, 877 Watch Binks. Thank you so much, JD Hartley.
Excuse me. We still got a T3 sub. A
I can catch
legendary
it.
T3 sub.
There we go. We caught the last little bit of it. Thank you so much, JD Hartley, for the big T3. I appreciate you. Thank you. Thank you. So they're definitely keeping it open for it being a permanent mode. I saw immediately someone saw this article and then like commented on one of my draft mode things saying like, oh, they ruined it by making it a limited time mode. Which, is the classic case of probably just didn't read the article. So we'll see. I think a lot of it is going to come down to how often people play it. Does it have the same limited time mode problem that people have where people will play it for 2 days and then put it down? I think those are a lot of things that they're going to be looking for. But I, for one, I'm going to be playing as much draft mode as I possibly can. Marvel Snap's a very synergistic game, even more so than other card games. And so when making a draft mode, you need to make sure that people can actually build a deck that functions. Isn't that just a bunch of random stuff that doesn't really work together? Yeah, this is one big problem when we were designing it, was that it is the main problem. Oh, I got Colleen Wing. Okay, well, is that good? Well, if I don't get at least 3 discard enablers or discard wards, then no, that card is not very worth much. Much as we're looking at it and trying a lot of stuff out with the mode, that was always the problem. The question I always had was, okay, well, how do you beat something like Black Panther or Arnim Zola? Like if someone gets this 2-card combo, puts a bunch of power in 2 lanes, how do you beat it? The regular game, I have different synergies my deck can do, something slightly different. Just based on, well, you don't really have a lot of synergy in my deck. It's more based on how the strong cards are strong cards are individually. That's where you're really going to struggle. That's where you're really going to struggle. Maybe it's you're really going to struggle. And just frankly, Snap just doesn't have a lot of cards that are super strong by themselves. They mostly very heavily rely on synergy. I disagree, Sam. I strongly disagree. I think that one of the biggest skill test, like knowledge, core snap understanding stuff that comes from something like draft mode is recognizing cards that you wouldn't look at in regular modes, but are very, very good in draft modes because in a vacuum, they're very strong. Generally, cards that fit this are going to be cards that are good stats for cost. Things like, you know, Kahori, or, you know, I'm even just thinking about like the 4-cost cards that I was like running, where a lot of people would come in and be like, why the hell are you running this card? There's certain cards that are just like always decent and sometimes quite good. Whereas a lot of the overarching like snap top meta decks rely on numerous layers of synergy kind of all working together. Like Venus stuff, right? Like Venus, all the individual cards in Venus are fine, but when you combine it and you get Venus going, then all the cards kind of just explode on the board, right? So I think that a very, very skill testing thing of something like a draft format in Snap is trying to get an understanding of cards that are maybe not ones that you would think to put in a meta deck, but in a draft mode are very, very strong. I feel like I've always talked about cards like this, like in a vacuum, is this card strong versus how strong can you make this card based on deck building and synergies? I think there's a lot of cards that like, some like Maria Hill, right? A 1/3 that gives you a random 2-drop. That card is so much better in draft than it is in standard. Like in draft, it's just like really, really solid. You get it, you get a 1/3, so you get some power, and then you get a resource. Really, really strong, right? But then like there are cards that like Maverick, for instance, right? If you get Maverick with no other synergies, the card's like a like kind of a 3/4 that you can't really play on the final turn and can sometimes help you with some things. So there's gonna be different ways to build decks in draft, or draft decks, I suppose. And I think some people, especially with the way that you get 3 starters that kind of push you towards a synergy, will probably not realize why they're losing because they're going too hard into that, as opposed to just picking cards that are just good in a vacuum and don't need other cards to support it. And B, yeah, just like not realizing how a game mode like this, like how winning works, I guess. Because winning's very different. Winning's very different in a much more limited format like this. Which is weird because with how augments work, making your cards super powerful, in the first few rounds of draft mode, decks are probably going to be, on average, quite a bit worse than like a meta deck that you would find, even though there are some augments that you can find like in the draft process and stuff like that. But by the end, because you can like stack augments and get all these crazy powerful things, it actually ends up by the end of draft, they're probably stronger than meta decks because they have a couple cards that are just like unbelievably broken, right? So there's a lot of layers to where the strategy of this is going to come in. And I actually don't agree with this at all. Snap just doesn't have a lot of cards that are very strong by themselves. I think there are a lot of cards that are very strong by themselves. And I think that that's going to be a big skill testing thing for a lot of people when draft mode is live. Sorry, give me a second. I'll show you this picture. All booked. So here you get another thing, an upgrade unlocked, where you get the choice of an augment. This one is the... I don't know how much that's showing on screen. Sorry, give me a second. Oh, it's showing perfectly. On reveal, return the lowest cost card here to your hand and give it +3 power. So you can like augment things with like very wild abilities that a card normally wouldn't have. Like this basically just makes like Sebastian Shaw like an interesting bounce card now. So I think these decisions are going to be pretty important for making sure everything does. Yeah, it'll be out Monday. Be out Monday. So when I was designing it, some of it is we have the ability to add augments to things to make sure that you can take a card that doesn't necessarily fit into your destroy deck, put an augment on it that ties into destroy, and now all of a sudden it does fit in your deck. I always refer to it like aim assist, right? You play a shooter on a controller. Obviously, you don't have the same level of fidelity as you would on a mouse and keyboard. There's a certain amount of aim assist that you put on, and it's like, oh, you know, you don't necessarily want to be like, oh, I can move between my different lock-ons. That's not really fun. What you really want to do is something where I can start going down a strategy, and it's going to be more likely to feed me cards that are going to play into my strategy. Give me some options to pivot. So this is a very important thing that they said here. Going to be more likely to feed me cards that are going to play into my strategy. It does seem like there's a system in place where if you have cards that share a synergy, you're more likely to get offered cards that have that synergy. So again, allows you to play into more of the synergy focus side of it, but doesn't force you into it, right? So there's a few different things that kind of come from that. It's nice to have a little bit of help in trying to do something if you really want to be synergy focused. But that might develop a meta where you want to avoid certain cards because while a certain card is good, it'll push you into a synergy where you don't really want the synergy with the card, and that'll affect your draft choices later. It'd be really interesting to see how much it affects things and how people kind of like dig into how all of that works, because I think that'll be a pretty important piece of the puzzle of how all of that goes down. Okay, well, your first pick was a standard destroy card, and then it's just like I saw no other destroy cards for the rest of my deck, and that's just now the deck's not very fun. I do think it's smart to have this, right? Like if you get a starter pack that's like pretty synergy focused, and then you just never get any more of those cards, it's gonna feel really bad. Synergy is the secret sauce of Marvel Snap that can also get way out of hand if you let people over synergize. Another thing that Marvel Snap does is make it difficult for draft is we don't have hard rarities. You know, inherently the game, we've got different series of cards. So we just got to invent the rarities for cards. So now we're going to say, oh, well, this is a common card, this is a rare, this is an epic, this is a legendary. So some of it is we get to move stuff around in rarities. So if we're saying, well, Destroy is just too strong right now, we can always move something like Carnage or Venom and go to rare. They're basically putting levers, like adding those levers into the game. It allows them to have ways to adjust power level of certain strategies, which is cool. And it's also nice to not be confined to already having rarities of cards. I think this is actually like a benefit to them where they get to choose the rarities, whereas like a lot of other games, you're kind of locked in, right? Okay, well, this card is just a rarity, just shows up less frequently. We pick some other cards that maybe isn't quite as strong and move it down in rarity. We can kind of try to power balance things that way. Yeah, cool ways to add additional levers. We don't necessarily want every strategy to be equally strong. Some strategies are going to be more consistent. Swarm is a good example of a deck where I'm laying out the stuff. Swarm is an archetype, not the card Swarm. As I'm laying out all the stuff, it's like, oh, well, how many cards do we have that, you know, are destroy enablers? It's like 10 or something. How many cards do we call Swarm enablers? Well, it's like every card in one cost cards. There's like 150 of them. It's like kind of interesting how they're dealing with the synergies. There's definitely a lot of, okay, we need to move some stuff around and figure it out. Some decks are going to be more consistent than others. Some decks are going to be a little more power spiky. Sometimes strategy is going to play heavily into one synergy. Sometimes it's going to do different things. Quite interesting. And then we see a little picture of, looks like 3 wins. So this is showing the respawn tokens. So this person, they have 11. But after you have your 2 losses, you can use a respawn token for an extra life. Some things to note on here: 3 cost Sarah. A 3/8 Sarah, as a matter of fact, pretty good card. And then you could see like the different rarities in the deck. Like Mole Man is the purple border. This has the blue border. These have the legendary border. Yeah, 3/8 Sarah just kind of gives you an example of how some of the cards can like, they can be really crazy looking. Really, really crazy looking for sure. It's actually one of the reasons why this card is not in it. We found a lot of spots where many of the other decks like move or destroy, they can make sense pretty easily. Like you have 1 or 2 move cards in your deck, it can still work, or like there's some combos I can do. But with this card, it does make sense. Like having discard cards, I feel like discard cards in the early editions of Snap, or the early versions of Snap, probably made more sense because the cards were generally overstat. But now over time, they can't make the discard cards too overstated, right? That a 6/6 score? I believe it is, yeah. Like I said, cards can get pretty crazy. So that was after 4 runs. That was after 4 runs because they had 3 wins and 1 loss. That was after 4 additional changes to the deck. So you can get some cards that are augmented or adjusted in the initial draft. I believe the next 2 cards that you add, so to go your card 11 and card 12, I think they're always augmented in some way. And then if you have a full deck of 12, every round you get to continue to augment cards, which again could be added power, lower cost, or those actual like augment badges that add cool things. Swarm is an odd choice when Zoo exists. Yeah, I don't know why they did that. I feel like maybe they just want to differentiate things, I suppose. But I think that Zoo is definitely more of a way. It's also weird because I talk about this a lot. I don't think like Snap really has standard archetypes. Like normally with Zoo, it's like you play more things than your opponent and you trade them, but like there's no trading in Snap, so it's like weird. I don't know. So maybe Swarm is a better example of what it is, but I agree. I think a more colloquially acceptable term would be Zoo for what they're talking about. If you're not pretty much all on a discard, then these cards are not very good. Yeah, that's the thing. Like when they used to be overstated, you could probably squeeze some of them in, but now that they're like either like 1 point overstated or not overstated. Yeah, Zoo is like a old term. Well, most terms for everything originate from Magic and card games. You could potentially have more than 1 copy of a card. It's not a thing you can do in Snap. How come? Inside the mode, there was always one of the most important things to me, being able to play multiples of the same card. Even turns out a lot of the synergy across different decks, where some decks are going to be more reliant on a small package of enablers and payoff cards. Letting you play duplicates means you don't have to have the same 3 or 4 individual enablers and payoffs in the same deck. It also probably helps, like, especially something like Destroy. Like, once you take, like, 2 of the Destroy cards, then you can kind of consistently get all of them. But if you get multiple of the same one, it gives you more variety. Even though it's kind of less variety, it's kind of both. Play a move deck with 2 Cravens. You're just going to be bouncing cards across. Multiple man. For draft mode to function, you also need a low roll. Oh, none of these really work for my synergy. I guess I'll just pick the one that seems like it's the least bad. Part of how this mode has to function. How do you try and make sure that element was in there, but also didn't feel like that off-putting? It's interesting because I don't know. I feel like that's like an important part of draft is finding the least bad card a lot of times. I think that it's actually like a pretty big skill testing thing. But I guess for more casual players, it can be off-putting. I can see that. Some of it is that augments give you the opportunity to upgrade cards in ways that you can take something that wasn't very exciting at all and becomes exciting. That's another interesting thing. Once you like get an understanding of what all the augments you could be offered are, it's going to make you think about cards differently. Like there are certain cards that with specific augments go from being bad to broken pretty quickly. So identifying those and like doing the risk reward of like having a card that's kind of bad, but if you find one of like 3 augments that you can think of, it makes it really, really good in your deck. That might be something worth taking. There's some cool things to think about with that. Marvel Snap does a lot of really interesting things for the whole CCG genre. It really tried to turn a lot of things on its head. A lot of that is the average game length in Snap, just very, very short. That's intentional. It's intentional because it's mobile-first, bite-sized experience. Play a lot of other draft games a full run that might take hours, especially on mobile, you know, for a mobile game. That's not necessarily a thing that people want to sign up for. So nice, quick mode, much like Marvel Snap. So this is another example of a way that you can get offered cards to get augmented. Sometimes it's as simple as you get a card and you can either reduce its cost by 2 or add its power by 4. I don't think it's like strictly this exact thing, but pretty crazy, right? I think most of the time in this situation, -2 is going to be better than +4 in almost every card, but there are going to be cards like, you know, say the cards that double, right? Like a Black Panther might be better with 4 power, or a Maverick is probably better with 4 power than -2 cost. So interesting to get some choices like this. Yeah, we talked about that a little earlier. The initial run is going to be a limited time game mode, but they said that both future versions of this and potential for permanency both seem to be on the table. So what goes, obviously, we'll let you play one game at a time and you can come back later and finish your draft. But also the entire time it takes to kind of go all the way to run should be like under a half an hour. The entire time it takes to kind of go all the way to run should be like under a half hour. That's exciting. That also helps out with some of the low rolls, trying to make sure that the actual experience is fast enough where you're willing to take those risks, because even if it goes poorly, you're only out a minimal amount of time, you can jump back in and try again. It's really important. Still shorter than the Hearthstone game. Someone survived the Control Warrior meta. I also need to ask, obviously, about augments. That's a huge element. It can almost feel game-breaking when it come into the flavor of this mode. All right, we're actually going to run some ads before we finish this off. If you don't want to see ads, you can pay $6. Check to see if you have a Twitch Prime subscription available. Click on the subscribe button. Use the little Prime toggle. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. Watching on Twitch, make sure to follow. See you in 3 minutes. That's a problem. You were the Control Warrior? How do these games take so long? Guy pressing armor pass for the 11th turn in a row. A huge change in card acquisition the last year and a half make it possible for someone to catch up. For free, probably not. But if you start buying the premium pass every month, you catch up pretty darn quickly. Pretty much all the limited time modes give you access to Series 4 cards recently, at least ones where they're a bit longer. They've done some like mini ones this month. But anyone with like rewards generally will give you access to things like Series 4, Series 3 packs, which is really cool. Yeah, card acquisition has, I mean, people don't talk about this enough because people like to complain about things, but card acquisition has almost like very consistently gotten better like every quarter. Ever since Kid Omega, I would say. Almost like they were limit testing what they can get away with. Yeah, once you're caught up, like, I don't know, I spent money for the first time outside of the monthly pass. I spent money for like the first time in a really long time in Snap, probably like 5 months the other day, just to get the animated emote because I wanted that. No, game's really good. This is very exciting. I'm someone who's a drafter at heart for most card games, so I definitely had it in my mind, okay, one of the things I want to do at some point is figure out how we get drafting in. I knew it was going to be really difficult because obviously it's not like the people at Second had not figured out that draft should exist, but obviously there was a challenging design problem. When I first got that ability to really start prototyping it, it was with just duplicates and, you know, it was really fun. So like as we're testing, we're like, okay, there's something fun here, but it's not enough. The only way we'd really make this work if we were able to have so few cards that you can reliably expect to get duplicates. And it's like, well, how many times can you really draft the same 3-4 deck before that gets old? And so we're like, yeah, not really quite there. Augments came out as an idea partially just because one of the things that is challenging about getting draft in Snap is that when you do a draft, part of the fun is you're going to make a lot of decisions. It was like a Smash Up game. Funny that they mentioned Smash Up because Smash Up is the board game that is most like Marvel Snap. Very interestingly. Oh, you're fine, Senjin. I know I could be abrasive sometimes. You're chill. Choose deck A, choose deck B, mash them together. We got a deck. And I appreciate you for apologizing, by the way, Senjin. Most people wouldn't do that. I think that's really cool. Being able to apologize is one of the most important skills that humans can learn. And I will apologize because I was definitely dogging you a little bit and probably being a little bit too mean. I will apologize for that as well. Yeah, so if it was just like you get you pick like 4 sets of 3 cards, it doesn't really feel like draft, right? Because you're not making nearly as many decisions. Quick peek at this. So this is 10 out of 11 drafted. So you see another augment there. Replace this new location with a new one. So basically just gives Scarlet Witch's ability. And each of them have these like own little individual badges, which is cool. I think, I don't know what this one is. But then you can also see like they have like different synergy things. Like this is a swarm and ongoing synergy. This is swarm synergy. This is swarm and control synergy because of the arrows. Are those not rarities? No, the rarities are the borders. So this one is like common rarity. This one is, I don't know if they've given them specific things, but it's like what you normally find. Like it goes like, and it's actually the same way that I don't know what the borders are called, but it's like common, uncommon, rare, or whatever. Like it goes common or gray, blue, purple, yellow. Just like you normally would when upgrading a card, right? Except it skips green, I think. So it goes common, rare, epic, legendary. I think is the 4 border names, right? So that's what the borders represent. The badges are special abilities. So it adds an additional on reveal to Thena. It says replace this location with a new one. So some of them are kind of more like techie and not as important like this, and some of them can be very game breaking, as we've seen with some of the other examples. As we were testing out drafting, part of the issue was you weren't getting enough decisions to make it really feel like drafting. You got to make a couple of decisions, but it wasn't enough, and augments became a way of like, hey, what if we added in the ability to make some kind of upgrades or changes to your card? That goes a long way in giving you more decision space. So it definitely does, I would say. You know, if you only had, you know, a few hundred cards in the card pool, you kind of get your view of every one of them. When every single one of the cards can have it be changed drastically as far as the cost or the power, or have these completely different abilities, it leads to a lot of different ways and a lot of different levers of how to adjust your deck, which is really cool. So really, really awesome there. The eventual goal as a live service is that we're going to be able to do some changes and have it come back and feel different. We'll be able to change what augments exist, goes a long way. Oh, things feel different this way now because there are more augments focused on some different strategies. Some of the augments are about reducing cost and more about something different. That goes a long way with each iteration of run. At a different time. Again, they're talking about multiple iterations of this, which is cool and exciting for the future. Feels pretty unique without having to reinvent a card pool, which is, again, difficult because the card pool is small. Behind the scenes, how the cadence of updating and planning the next version of Draft Limited Time Mode. Again, next version of Draft Limited Time Mode. We've not fully figured this out yet. Everyone's very, very excited about the mode, but we obviously are looking at how the audience reacts. Whether designing anything, audience feedback is incredibly important. I don't want to be like the kids are wrong guy. It's like, you know, we believe in this and people are like, meh. Gonna keep releasing it the same way until they realize how good it is. There's a lot going to learn. The number of draft games that we played internally is going to be dwarfed by the number of draft games that happen in the first hour that it's live. We'll learn a lot. We're going to learn a lot about how much choosing different strategies play out. We're going to get a lot of data that way. Definitely thing we're trying to figure out is that all that data is what that cadence looks like. It's not going to be long before it comes back because we definitely have a lot of things we want to try out. A lot of encouraging things for it being back in the future and hopefully soon. So this is a look at what you get from wins. So notably at 5 wins, you get another draft ticket. So pretty cool. There's XP and it looks like some kind of event currency. So they did mention there's going to be a pass, so you get XP into your pass, as well as some currency. Be able to get things in the event shop. Cool things there. Long term, I just think we're going to have to figure out some of this. How fresh does it say for the time that it's up? What do we need to do between instances to make sure it's remaining fresh? Got a lot of stuff to do. We want to make sure we don't hit a point where it always gets stale because we just don't figure out enough stuff going on. We're definitely going to figure out what happens in our initial run as we do subsequent ones. Figure out what we change between runs and how much does this add on it. So pretty exciting stuff. Again, I really hope that they bring this as a full-time mode. If the content goes well for it, there's a very good chance I almost push exclusively into draft-based content, especially if it's a long-term mode. I'm really excited to play Snap in a different way, and like, I think that this kind of hits a lot of the marks of what I'm looking for. Draft has probably been one of the most requested modes in Marvel Snap, as draft is sort of a standard mainstay of card games, but the way you're implementing it is really surprising. I don't know what I was expecting from draft, but there are more wrinkles in this than I had anticipated. When you're looking at what the demands have been from the fan base, how do you make sure you deliver while also packing in a bunch of surprising wrinkles that I don't think people are going to see coming? Huge discussion between us internally. Does this hit your expectations for drafting and Snap? We had versions this previously where I felt like this does not live up to what my expectations would be like, whether it's fun or not. Or some versions we tried, well, what if you started by drafting 3 cards and get a bunch of 2-card picks? It was like, well, I'm just not making enough picks. Doesn't certainly feel like a drafting format. Feels like more of a mashup thing. Certainly some people are going to want a more traditional draft experience, whether it's I want to play more games at a time or I want more direct against another whether it's I want to play more games at a time. I want to play more games. Oh, like they want to get to 10 wins instead of 5 wins with the same deck. Or I want to play more directly against another person. Sure, there will be people where this does not necessarily hit exactly what they were looking for. General hope is this mode is fun, and much in the same way Snap took a lot of things that core CCGs did turn them on their heads. There are trade-offs that we made to make it a really fun mobile experience that's really different from other CCGs. The only thing I can talk about is what's in this article, by the way. So if it wasn't covered in the article, I don't really have an answer for you. I'm sure there will be people where this is not necessarily hit exactly what they're looking for. I already read that. Take all the things that Snap has done that are unique and really think about draft in the same way. What can you do to really make this unique in a way that lives up to the Snap's DNA? So looks like that is all we got for it. Really exciting. Let me see some of these questions and see if there's anything in the article that can grab. Thing is legendary. Yeah, I mean, I think we'll have to see, like, I don't know how much of a change, like, legendary, non-legendary does to how often things are shown. But I mean, if you think of, like, swarm-style cards, like, Thane is probably one of the more complex. It seems like the legendary cards tend to be more complex as opposed to necessarily the best ones, I would say. The cards you get to pick from in your starting collection, even those you don't. It looks like it's going to be everyone has access to the same pool. Certainly what it looks like. Doesn't look like they had said anything about it. There's also like, anytime you do a format like this, if players were able to only have cards in their collection, there would be a subset of people who would create accounts and only unlock the best draft cards and then use it. So I would say based on all this information, I would be shocked if everyone didn't have the exact same card pool. They give you a ticket back when you win. Yeah, 5 wins, you get a ticket back. There are tickets that mean rewards would repeat each round. Does that mean you can keep getting credits as long as you keep winning? Yes. Yes, that is that will happen every single time. Because there's a quote-unquote payment of getting into it. Yeah, anyone else had any questions I might have missed? It's shorter than a single game of Hearthstone for a draft is exciting. Yeah, that like saying it should take only under a half hour is unbelievably exciting to me. I think that being able to have a draft mode that's this quick is really cool. That'd be terrible if you're a low collection player and you can't play basic Series 5 cards at all. Yeah. Or like I said, I mean, I legitimately think that if they do set it up where it's like only cards in your collection, there will legitimately be people who would create draft accounts that only grab like the best draft cards and then break the system. So I can't imagine any reason why it would be that way. But really exciting stuff. I am, like I said, I'm unbelievably excited for this. I'll be streaming draft a ton next week, and like I said, I have a pretty ambitious goal to every day of draft put out a draft video. It doesn't look like it says anything about tickets regeneration, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm really excited. I think the roguelike elements are super, super cool. Having the ability to upgrade and improve cards definitely, in my opinion, leans into making it feel like a cooler experience and feel different than normal Snap in a cool way. And yeah, once everything's live, we'll go, you know, obviously a lot more into detail about things and be able to talk about things in a lot more open ways. You did indeed. Like literally just ended 45 seconds ago. That ass. The question becomes, what the heck do I want to play? What the heck do I want to play? I feel like I want to play some Thanos with a gun for sure. I took too long off of Thanos with a gun. The card's just so strong, man. It just makes every deck feel so good. I've been seeing some pretty good virus stuff with Thanos. Maybe go for that. That sounds like fun. Sounds fun. Hello? Okay.
This is what we got. Everybody's a Binks fan.
Yo, dip 'em in beef. Thank you so very much for the 8 months. I appreciate it. So the starting point of Shadowlands Daredevil would look like something like this. We can kind of decide if we want to go more down the like ongoing path or not. I feel like Fisk has felt so much worse than it used to, or than it did. I think Kraglin is just better Fisk most of the time. So there's a few different routes we can go down with this. We can go for a Beta Ray Bill. I don't think like mixing Thor stuff with Shadowlands Daredevil stuff is all that good. You have to build the deck very specifically, let's say, for it to be good. IMO. Harm. So we definitely want to have some more 1-drops. We want Virus. Let's make it a Virus deck. We could go with like Quinjet and then add some like cards that Quinjet works off of, so to speak. Like Valentina's Iron Patriot type stuff. Kind of interesting to think about. Then is Valentina Shadowlands Daredevil Iron Patriot enough? Like Gambit. Probably. Kang kind of has the same problem. Also, like Thanos with Kang just feels weird. You're drawing the cards so infrequently. So much less frequently. I think if we were going to do this, we'd want to make it to not focus on Kang as well, which is fun. I've loved Loki, like Kang Technovirus decks in the past. Especially like the E-Tree stuff all just works really well. Throw a Mirage as well. Actually don't hate that. Then we probably want at least one more one drop. I mean, we could obviously just do like a Misery. Kind of sucks that, or not Misery, sorry, the Martyr. Also, this deck feels like it could probably fill out your hand pretty well. Prodigy? What would we be targeting with Prodigy? You can get more Shadowlands Daredevil if you want, I suppose. I guess Gambit, but we're not really leaning into that too much. Gambit's just kind of good on its own. I'm just debating if we want Martyr or like a different one cost. Yeah, this is a good deck for Red Wolf, probably. We are keeping our hand quite full. Is it like good enough? I'm not sure. You don't really have too many things that get hit with Shadowlands Daredevil is a bit of a problem that I'm seeing. I think if I was going to add a 2-drop, I'd probably want like a Lizard. Maybe we don't need more 1-drops. Adam can be fine. I'm not a big Adam believer. Starbrand's just weird. Like, it's probably fine though. Like, maybe we just go Starbrand Lizard. Just finish it out with power. Starbrand's also really good for winning. Like, all 3 of these cards are pretty good to win Iron Patriot lanes. Yeah, Crystal is a 6 that draws cards, but it also draws our opponent's cards. Probably fine. Jane Foster's another that's just really good card that's kind of want to include, but let's try this. Triton triggers Daredevil. Guys, I'm ranked 0. I'm the best player who's ever played. Any good cards? We need a Warpath. Pretty good. Gonna play Moonstone on this Quinjet. It was kind of crazy. Rude. We actually probably want to play E-Tree. Something like this. That revolver nice and loaded. For the energy. Play this down here, I think is fine. It's fine. I want to keep our quick draw triggers up so that we can eventually try and kill their scorpion stuff. So we can go like Demon Rights. I don't think we're going to need this Thanos. Really don't want to play the Killmonger right now. So maybe we don't want to play Demon actually. Go like Coulson, Rania, Techno, Law. Probably fine. Okay. Okay. Okay, so now basically the only lane they could do their stuff in is the left lane. Makes any semblance of sense, I would say. Tough. I want to do this. Let's go Cole. Okay, so their play this turn is practically always going to be Scorpion Spell. So Thanos left will at least make that only 2x. It's actually 4x. Really wish they'd put a one drop there. We could actually like really tear them apart. So it's always here. Question is, do I want to Skillmonger first? I think I do. Destroy Cage? Does that help though? I'd rather destroy a Scorpion than a Cage, personally. Yeah, going for Cage was definitely incorrect. By the way, thank you, Doctrine Wolf, for the raid. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. Let's send some love over to Nocturne Wolf. I'm fish food? That's not even true. Not even true a little bit. Pin deck. It's an interesting one to be sure. Graveler. Any Kraglins? Many Kraglins, quite good. Rude. Several Gambits also quite good. There's a chance they just Polaris right again. All right. Let's chill too. So now we want to Thanos middle. We'll discount, be able to move. Etc. I can move him off of middle lane if I want. I don't think I need a copy of it. The next one, we want to play Gambit Kraglin to fulfill the condition alongside something? Question mark. Rude. Back over there. Probably. Yeah, this surely wins, right? +9. Okay, Starbrand on Onslaught Citadel is a joke. Lakichu for vibes. They probably leave. They stay. Be crazy. Are you an insane person, perchance?
Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man here.
All right. Sure. That is how you get casseroled, I'm afraid. And then I'm going to kill all your cards as a joke afterwards. Crazy stay. Crazy stay.
Victory.
I might have blown out my mic. I wonder if that blew out my mic. Not. Hello, cold boyfriend. You have way too much faith in Juggernaut? Yeah, I don't know what that was. Now that you mention your mic, your audio sounds phenomenal. Like I never had issues. Thank you. Yeah, it's took a while to get there, but we figured it out. Appreciate that. Can we get some Alliance members to clear some detritus on the Alliance board, please? Some detritus clears for the streamer. I would appreciate that. People do have too much faith in Gambit. Yeah. It's always so funny, like just playing a bunch of 4-drops and then the opponent plays 3 Gambits and they kill like your Surge. Like, he got me. I've been had, I'm afraid. This is why we want a 3rd 1-drop, I think, but I quite like all the cards in my deck. It hasn't felt too bad having, Electron 1, huh? Just for the quick draw trigger. That's surprising. I'll be taking that. Peace. I think Iron Patriot Kraglin follow-up is it's about as close to unbeatable as you can get. I wish you had killed one of my my cards. We still want to take it. Will not take your Electra. I feel like we want to draw Thanos, so I actually don't even want to play the Shadowlands Daredevil. Crazy as that sounds. Right? That could be a cool combo if I would have held on to it. My cards. If we want to play the Destroyer, we have to play it right now. Fuck it. We ball. Motherfucker. At least it's turn 5. Not that bad. Classic Bink Psycho play. Oh my god, they did have shoot. Oh. They had it all, man. I don't wonder if we play that Starbrand middle. I could have thought about. We're not Gambit middle, because they had a 12 power Isco there and a awesome Andy, and we could have lost, and we were playing a card that gave us +3 power there, or -3 power there. The only way that the Gambit won middle is if we killed both of the cards, if they stayed there. Because they had a +3 to our opponent's side from the Starbrand anyway. Oh, I couldn't have played the Starbrand middle. That's a good point. We'll take some quick draw juice. Love quick draw juice. Yes, we do. Yeah, we like Shadowlands Daredevil here. On curve, it's much easier to want to play it when you're digging for Thanos as opposed to off curve, especially with King Eitri in hand. Extra energy. I almost played those cards in the order, like in the do. I feel like I kind of played those at the exact same time. Yeah, this sucks. Kind of sucks. I know. I kind of want to play Technovirus that turn. They could have Killmonger, which would really suck, for the record. You have a fully loaded Thanos. I feel like I just want to do this. I don't really want to play these demons. Knowing that there's a decent chance they have Killmonger and they die. I'm gonna feel bad if we draw like exactly Thanos. Everything else, it's kind of fine. We can just go Demon, Scorpion, Virus. It's pretty good.
Taking aim.
Yeah, the problem is it's going to really suck if... It's going to really suck if they have Killmonger here, which I think it's pretty likely. Maybe Gambit can bail us out. They can't really play like Killmonger and Death, right? So we should be fine, actually. Spider-Man Spear isn't interesting in this to get like Carnage Death stuff set up.
Higher, further, faster, baby.
Taking a
Easy game, easy life, I'm afraid.
Victory.
Doo-doo. Deck feels quite strong. Still kind of want another one drop, but I don't know if I could cut anything. The Mirage is maybe on the chopping block, but Ooh. We're going to play the Shadowlands Daredevil. Let's go left. Can't wait until Monday and I live in Europe. Waiting until Rover is going to be torture? Probably not. Torture is a little more serious, I would say. Just a tad. I guess it depends, as all things do in this world. Okay, so we're gonna have Thanos active already, which is cool. Let's go Kraglin. Let's keep him nice and juiced up. Thanos' bottom card. Hey, one of the 12 cards has to be. Look at that. Kraglin removing a card from my deck, thus making their cast worse. He's a fucking genius. It's actually crazy how smart and talented he is. We will go Valentina, Techno left. Could be good. Ooh, cost reduction cracked here. Cost reduction insanely cracked here. We'll go like Taskmaster, Gambit, TVO. Kind of just do everything. Now they can go kind of crazy too, no doubt about that. Seems good, right? Copy there. Extra there. A little more there. Cheeky guy there. The play is just death. I mean, there's no way that death wins this, right? It'd be crazy. They almost won a lane, to be fair.
Victory.
Yeah, we could have also hit the Carnage and then had the Fire Hair eat everything. Don't you remember Medieval Europe? They would capture an enemy and make them wait for a game mode to come out for a whole day, maybe even two. No, I know. I was just messing with you, Marta. What? I just like when people like to make comparisons like that. Like, it's gonna be torture waiting for this video game for me to play for a couple extra hours. Like, torture? You just play the normal game, you know? Game's still fun. The Alliance members! Can I get some detritus clearing, please? You're making a little joke, I'm making a little joke back. We'll have a great time. This is the way.
The universe shall be set right.
Dark Sea. Every time I draw no one drops, I'm looking at my cards to see what I could cut for a one drop. I think it might be Mirage. Thank you, Detritus Clear. Sure. Hard to say no to turn 2 Shadowlands Daredevil. It's just very strong. It's just simply quite strong.
This land is always changing.
You know, this land is always changing. I've been saying this for some time. Take a quick draw trigger here. Take a Mirage. Set up for future turns. I don't know. Maybe we can go like Mirage Kraglin if we get a one cost. Might be able to get an inclination as to what they drew from me as well this turn. What this guy is. Okay, so they drew a demon of mine and Jet of mine. Oh, not too bad. Get Copy Stone here. The Gambit goes kind of crazy middle. It's also good to hit the Shadowlands Daredevil. I did get the copy. Do we have Prio here? Very, very strong. You say weakest card, I think? This card. So we hit the Soul Stone. Ouch. Yet. I'm not gonna lie, I just assumed that Mockingbird would be a created card because I got it from Weird World, but it's not actually a created card. We actually don't get the Gambit, but I think that's still okay. Sure. Oh my fucking god. Ah! Yeah, I mean, that's just a misplay on my end. I could have played down the Kraglin and then I could have adjusted cards later on. I could have played around this. Sucks to have like lose like that, but I definitely made incorrect decisions in the mid game that caused that. Tough. I don't know. I gotta think about that. Like Weird World gets kind of funky. It's the same thing with like Cable. When you like Cable a card, you're like, oh, this is a created card. I created it. I made this. Tough. I think no Thanos in hand. We don't prioritize quick draw trigger. Okay, so they're playing multiple man for sure. What fucker. It was as if I only run one of those in my deck for a reason. Come on, man. Give me some help here.
I am the Sorcerer Supreme. Escaped.
Tough. Dungeon Crawler Carl. Parlor. We can get some quick draw juice. These pizza slices. Ideally. Novel. Juice it up. The hell? What the fuck? Why do you have fucking Groot in your deck? Pretty sure we're gonna get this Groot trigger. I guess they could Cosmo us. I also have Doom. Please don't tell me cards that you have knowledge of that are in your opponent's decks. I would appreciate it. Try to avoid that as much as possible. This Groot, by the way. Just getting on Groot. Kidding, motherfucker. Oh, you're fine. It's just something I try and be consistent about because I don't like having advantages as a streamer. He's Groot, by the way. Really? All these people are staying on the craziest shit today, man. You see the board state? Get out of here, Groot. I am the Groot.
Victory.
We're Groot maxing. That is the question I have today for all of my opponents. Like, do you see the board state? These motherfuckers aren't ready for draft, man. No, I do know some people just stay in against me, no matter what. The Moogler way.
Mastery.
Alright, chat, we're going to 3 minutes ads. Don't see edge, can pay $6. Check to see if you have a Twitch Prime subscription available by clicking the subscribe button. Use the little Prime toggle. For watching on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. Watching on Twitch, make sure to follow. See you in 3 minutes. You're gonna be snapping a draft? They didn't mention that at all in the article. Let's go. That feels good. Mirage for a 1 cost is the only thing that I think I need to change. But like Mirage is also nice. I think you could just tank missing a 1-drop, I guess. Plus if you just draw a King Eitri, Shadowlands Daredevil, kind of chilling. They get Techno or Shadowlands. Doctor Strange. Probably a very similar deck to what we were just facing. Ranya. I think this is higher value than just trying to play out the lizard. Weird. Okay. Was not expecting that. Very rude, for the record. Ooh, this is kind of awkward because I want multiple Thanoses. Or I want multiple Shadowlands Daredevils. I can't do that if I play the Demon Middle. Then I can't play Thanos next turn if I don't play the Demon Middle. Tough decision. Good. I also don't have the copy spell, so. Pocket Sand. Yeah, deck feels strong. Having the Gambit is like end game play feels pretty good. I like decks that run Gambit but don't all in on him. I think he's a really good card in that respect. Plus the decks you face with it don't feel as unfair. I feel like it's underutilized. Most people who play the card just tend to try and go crazy with it, I feel. I don't know if that's the best way to do it. Set up our first TVO lane. Very rude. Hello, hello, Teeth Thanos. Judged. Okay. Nice setup here. Hello, Catherine. Very rude. Noted. I feel like I want to do 2 quick draw triggers here to set up my Thanos better. I feel like it's good. I kind of want to get another TVO trigger as well. Maybe just get one. We could play the demon alongside it next turn. I'm a day one snap player. I'm like the only one, I think, left at least. Rude. Double rude. I have concerns that my opponent is ending the turn next, or ending the game next turn. Thoughts? Wait, they can't. Unless they have Legion? Exactly. Not gonna play around that.
Victory.
Pretty good. Good. Iris mid for acid. Yeah, I wasn't that concerned about acid arrow, I guess. Like, it just kind of looked like even if they acid arrowed me mid, like, I could still give it like +3 power every turn. They have to deal with that at some point. Seems hard. Card can move, they float on the board just like Thanos there. I'm aware. Surprisingly. You're maybe telling people in chat who are asking if they could. Don't mind me or whatever. Ooh, getting hammered. Two really good shots in the Thanos, and none of it matters. Oh. Silly me. I think we go Starbrand here. I think winning is really important. Not moving the shield. Oh, I guess you have to make room. Okay, 07 both of these cards probably. I know what I have to do, but I'm not sure I'm brave enough to do it. Type shit. Ouch. wonder if the Gambit is worth it. Probably is. Guess we do other order for Negasonic reasons. Please don't play Negasonic, right? I would crush my spirits, man. Wow.
Hello, so happy.
Must be like exactly one of these and one of these. Fucker, dude. Hit the only 3-drop on the board in case anyone was keeping track. I feel like we had a lot of chances to win that, actually. I can't believe how many points they just got left. Fucking wild, man. Right, my 4 biggest cards in my deck all in hand. That means we're guaranteed a quick draw trigger next turn. No matter how bad it is. That's a pretty damn good one, considered. Put that there. Oh, I think I want you here. You don't take advantage of the Shuri's Lab nearly as much. Okay. Now we have copy of draw. Just like Kraglin up middle for the copy. Playing 1-drops is a bit of a fool's errand. I've never seen a Squirrel Girl X23 deck in my life not run Killmonger. I am guaranteed quick draw for the rest of the game. This is true. I mean, that one might be worth it, though. All things considered. Quite unlikely we're getting this Gambit online, but just kind of a 3-5, I guess. Oopstone. Give me the suck. I don't know what they're up to. I'm guessing they try and end, like most of these decks do, with a combo, but it's kind of hard with Shuri's Lab. What a weird spot. You know what? Click the snap button. You're playing a very powerful play. You're playing an 18 power card that copies a 21 power card. It's just like pretty good. Kill my Quinjet, which I was just expecting to be dead anyway. Seems good. I don't know if they play the final Sinister card if it gets Shuri's labbed. If that's the case, I might be in trouble with this play, but we'll learn. Ouch.
I want the throne. Great power comes.
It didn't even activate Dormammu. That's one of the reasons I don't think Dormammu Sinister 6 makes a lot of sense. Because, like, once you draw Dormammu in your first 6 cards, you just can't do half your deck. Maybe it's just like a backup plan that's okay. Hey, Snarfler. Snarfling about, mister. Streets are saying some of the detritus is cleared. Bates? The fuck, man. Maybe the detritus got cleared and then uncleared at the same time. Any such cases, I'm afraid. MFers in the alliance will wait for me to say that. Wait for the bad alliances to go away. Scoop the good alliances. Leave only bad alliances. I see you. It's the Moogler. The Moogler's here, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, Spider-Man. I'm gonna draw Thanos. How did he know, man? How did he know he would draw the only card that doesn't work with? How did he know? Is the question I ask you. Motherfucker. Sometimes you just know, man. Hopes and dreams type shit.
Opponent snapped.
Kind of gives up my chance of playing the Zola on the Gambit, but I don't think that'll matter in this matchup. Fortunately, now there's nothing to really Zola. That was kind of the original intention, but I shouldn't have done it, I don't think. I really just don't know, like, what my win con is. Maybe 11. They can Galactus left and it just works. Actually still didn't beat Galactus. I guess I would have set up Thanos. Our Venom. And we would probably just lose to like Wasp. You know, the classic things that we'll lose to. I don't think there's anything that we can do that really avoids that, right? Run. There's some interesting lines we could maybe find with Zola that would have worked around that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it was possible. Oh my gosh, Dexter! Dexter, thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, Dexter enjoyers. My favorite Riftbound player. Hello, Oracle.
I cannot give you back your homes.
If you're living under a rock, you don't know Dexter, go give him a follow. Make some really good physical card game content. Tons of awesome Snap content. Even returning to Snap for draft mode. Even Dexter returns for draft mode. Crazy. That was the biggest news I've heard in some time. Welcome in, Raiders. My name's Binks. If you don't know me, I play Marvel Snap. I'm very excited for draft mode. I've been forcing myself to make my own decks every day for 4 years. And I play a lot of bad cards. I've been training for draft mode my whole damn content creator life. I was born for this. Everything I've wanted. F. Kind of sucks whiffing all these quick draw triggers, but without Thanos in hand, it's not the biggest deal. But they reconsider it being a limited time game mode? Yeah, read the article. They go into it a lot. They might be playing Starbrand, which would suck. Something pre-watched. Okay. Going to here, we'll get our extra energy. Maybe if we top deck a 1-drop, we can get Thanos copy spell. Looks like we're in a bit of a dire spot. And hella carried. Make sure to not give them Galactus. Good way of going about this. You get an extra quick draw trigger. Nice. Green probably best. That's pretty good too. Problem here is that they have full combo, which they probably do, but they still need to have a Wasp as one of their main cards, which is very possible. How does one go about this? So they have 6, 10, 10, 26, 31. Probably gonna be like 40 something power. That is probably just too much for us to deal with, huh? Yeah, we can't get 40 something power anywhere. Except for right, but I can't imagine they go right. I don't think the Gambit will be relevant. Yeah. This deck has full combo and you don't run... You don't run Cosmo and stuff. That's what, yeah, that was what I was talking about, yeah. The only way they whiff it is if they didn't draw Yellow Jacket or Wasp as their last evil card. Or they could even have played a 1-drop. But chat, I only have about 20 minutes left. I actually have something I have to do in 28 minutes on the dot. So, well, about 20 more minutes of playing this. And then the next time you'll see me, man, will be Monday for draft. How exciting. The only way for us to get left is with Thanos. Maybe it was actually incorrect to play that, but we also need to get the quick draw triggers, so kind of tough. Board space is at a mega premium this game. In the deck. Put our Vibranium left too. It probably makes sense. The problem is they have like Spectrum stuff, which beats it. Also found no ways of getting Gambit online. I guess we can Techno-Organic Virus ours, so there's some positives to it. If they only do a single Thanos, we could get our Techno-Organic Virus to +3. Shield won't even actually matter for that, interestingly. We did actually find a way to get it online, which is cool. Sometimes I think we have to find exactly a 4 cost. Actually, we could just get it online with Techno-Organic Virus, right? We play it this turn. Yeah, we're actually fine. It's good. So it looks like we're going to be able to tie left unless they have another way to get over there through like a Spider-Man or something like that. We could also hammer our Gambit, which would suck, but what are we going to do? Nothing you can do is the thing. 07. They get movable. They get movable. They did get Gambit as well. I think there's still an argument they actually won't go left. With the Thanos. Could be wrong. The Gambit middle doesn't really do anything, to be honest. I actually got the call right. Pretty cool. I think it's a pretty tough call to make. Question is, do we do enough? I think the answer is probably going to be no. 22, 17, yeah. Close, though. If they hadn't hit our Gambit, we win. That's really unfortunate. They literally could have hit any other card in our hand. Like, if this is an active Gambit, we almost assuredly win, right? Be very unlikely that we would lose. That sucks. It sucks. The only lose condition would be like Surge Rock or like Spider Ham Rock Vibranium or Surge Vibranium. That's tough. That's a tough 1 in 3 to lose. A really, really good call out though that they weren't going to move the Thanos. I feel like that was a very hard read to make. They could have also snapped and played the Bob, which I'm surprised that they didn't. Maybe they were just scared of the total power battle. Or maybe they were scared that they would lose middle and right if they did that. Or maybe they didn't even think that I was going to do the Vibranium thing. I think that they were baiting me to not do the Vibranium thing left, to just win it with the thing. Going to Valentina, then play the card on 3, which is kind of nice. Immediately sets up Gambit. Oh, sweetheart, I was just talking about you. What you got for me? Hola. We can't, I mean, this is the same exact thing we got before. We can't just have 2 Gambits go off immediately. Kind of cool. Sure, try it. So this kills all 3 of those cards, which is awesome. Talk. Choose Iron Patriot or Mirage. Like Mirage is better. We want small cards to play. Aaron Page hit nothing. Karen Page hit nothing. Not the vibe. Very hard for us to win left unless we are an absolute psychopath and we play Starbrand Kraglin left. I guess 7. I mean, it's only a 20% chance that we whiff. Surfer mid, it just seems bad, right? Maybe it is good. I feel like it's not, though. That ties left. Oh, wins left. 9 plus 7 is 16. All right. But it is funny. Can't deny that. Starbrand left, Demon Surfer mid. That just loses left on the board, right? Oh, to try and set up the thing? Yeah, I don't know, because then if it just doesn't go off, then we just always lose, right? I would maybe do that with Kraglin, but the Starbrand giving 3 to the other lanes is really diabolical. Ah, Playable. What if they got mine back? That would be fun. Oh, my A-tree. Cheater. I think I will play my card middle this turn. Tough decision there. They still gave me a kill Thanos, which is pretty fucking good, man. All things considered. Raptors. I'm pretty sure that'll win or tie basically 100% of the time, so that's good. And we got the TVO. Wow, that is very lucky. We should probably be snapping here, eh? It's pretty good. You skip 4 to 5 months, ... I don't have a single meta card, ... that's not true, but if you want to be upset, you can. No control over that. I personally would recommend not just finding things to be upset over for no reason. But the world's your damn oyster. I mean, if I looked at your collection, I could make, I don't know, 20 decks that are all different and viable in this meta. But it is much easier to just look at your cards and say, I don't have a single meta card, I can't do anything. It's all about perspective and what you want to do. Or maybe you just want to complain, and that's fine too. Feels good. Complaining do be feeling good. No doubts about that. Roy McClure. In a bar with no name game, I think we're going to be chill. and just try and make really, really powerful things happen. I think getting early TVO is a good way to start that off. I want to be playing TVO every turn, I think. Ragler. Good. He's right. You know how many times I brought a new card for the hype and I'm going to old classics I like? Yeah, it's just a perspective thing, right? Marvel Snap is absolutely a game where there's a million ways to find success. Thank you. All about finding what works for you type shit. I'm a little scared of Juggernaut. Can we get move? Does look like we got move. It's really good. I mean, with Snap the Bob, they should just... Oh my gosh, we got Starbrand too. I am worried about Juggernaut. Juggernaut is something that scares me, for sure. I think there's certainly a world where we lose to Juggernaut. I have no real way of stopping it. The one way I'm like pretty sure we can stop Juggernaut would be doing this. This. Which looks stupid, for the record.
Victory.
I could also have moved Thanos right to set that up if I wanted. I don't know how good that would be. I feel like them playing the Hydra Bob was really dumb, respectfully. This is gonna be the last game.
The universe shall be set right.
Bit unfortunate, but so rather expected. Just glad draft is happening Monday. It would have been interesting. Less interesting if you had to wait a year after the announcement. Yeah. Read. The sooner, the better. Haystone. Another one-drop stone? We actually beat it. Ay, ay, ay. But at least we'll get early Thanos down. It's the cost reduction Thanos is really strong. Even if it doesn't have anything else, like 5/8 discount all your cards by 1, pretty good. We can also choose not to do that if we don't want to. So lots of options. Also, I don't have to early Thanos. Seems nice, but let's get some more triggers. Well, the problem is like can't really set up Gambit if we do this. Just put the cost reduction in the bag, little bro. It's inevitable, by the way. Ah! Okay, well, I guess I'm happy I did that. What the fuck? I just want to beat their Thanos everywhere. We can do. Well played. Very important to just be smart about that. Just win everywhere. Don't let it get close. Win 3 lanes profit, as they say. Yeah, if they had announced draft and said it's coming next year, I would have been very upset. I agree with that. But that's gonna do it. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Get excited for Monday. Next stream, we will be playing draft mode. Real, true based, awesome. Super, super duper excited. Play a whole bunch of Marvel Snap for y'all.
Oh, he got me by 1 again.
All right. Pass the vibe check. We're going to send you It's Primo TV. I know nothing about them. Let's go send them a whole bunch of love. It'll be really nice. I don't know how new they are to the game or how much they play. They're playing what looks to be semi-basic stuff. So be nice. Go help them out. Thank you all so much for hanging out. Have fun with It's Primo TV, and I will see you for draft on Monday. See ya.
Hey, thanks for the raid, Binks. Thanks for the raid.